Welcome to Nugget 123 with Steve Groman. And today we are going to be talking about some incredible insects, and specifically the bee. And it comes from Science News, and the whole magazine is about agriculture and the role that insects play.
They do a lot of benefit.
And they're beautiful.
Many of them are very beautiful. Wild bees are moneymakers for some U.S. farms. That's an interesting title. U.S. cherries, watermelons, and some other summertime favorites may depend on wild bees more than previously thought. Many farms in the United States use managed honeybees to pollinate crops and increase production. Now, an analysis of 7 crops across North America shows that wild bees can increase the harvest on farms abuzz with managed honeybees. Something aside, I just thought about it. It's like the carpenter bees. Most bees, honeybees and such, they just kind of pick one thing, pick. But these other guys, they just kind of dive bomb. They get pollen all over them.
Wild volunteers add at least $1.5 billion in total to production for 6 of the crops, researchers report in the July 29 proceedings of the Royal Society Bee.
That's a lot of voluntary help.
Yeah. You know who provided that help?
Yeah, God provided that help.
The Creator did.
Isn't that something?
The big surprise was that we found so many wild bees even in intense production areas where much of the produce in the USA is grown, says pollination ecologist Rachel Winfrey of Rutgers University in New Brunswick, New Jersey. Winfrey and colleagues spot-checked visits from wild and managed bees to flowers at 131 commercial farm fields across the United States and part of Canada. In a novel twist, the team checked for signs that there were too few managed bees to get the maximum production by depending on these bees alone. This information let researchers estimate to what extent native bees were filling in the gaps. So what they're talking about here is how they, I guess, presuming that the bees that they were bringing in to do the work weren't carrying the load, and it was actually the wild bees that were doing a lot of the work.
And they finally got credit for it.
Right, and I do want to mention something about New Jersey. I don't know what people's idea of New Jersey is. New Jersey is an awesome place. It's called the Garden State.
For a reason.
They have so many truck farms. It's really a fun place. Based on orchards in Michigan and Pennsylvania, some 1.06 billion of apples depends on native pollinators, the researchers say. Watermelons get an estimated 146 million benefit, and sweet cherries 145 million. Native bees also dominate pumpkins and boost tart cherries and blueberries. We have been to blueberry farms in New Jersey, and we've been to tart cherry farms in Michigan, and I'm telling you, we had the best cherry pie that one time in Michigan.
Very good.
It was amazing. And the apple orchards in Washington, these places are awesome, and they're all part of the creation. And this article is just talking about how God's creation works within itself. It helps each other out, and man knows that they need the bees to pollinate, so they're incorporating them in there, but it's not enough.
You go on a picnic and you're just outside, here comes a bee, right? What's the first thing people want to do?
Swat him away.
Swat him away, or swat him away forever. Smack him.
Right.
And they are really beneficial to the creation. We should kind of let them do their thing. We have a fossil beehive that we put on display at our seminars too. They're amazing creatures. ICR did an article about the unbelievable vision of a bee. Like it says here, next to the fruit fly, the most popular insect of the creation scientists could very well be the common honeybee. Much has been written and filmed of the insect's incredible ability to make perfectly formed combs containing hexagonal cells for maximum utilization of space and heat transfer, and the bee's ability to convey the location of food source to fellow workers via sophisticated dance is legendary. The honeybee will do an amazing dance. They send scouts out, they'll find where some field is where they need to be, and they'll go back and they can communicate to the bees exactly where and how far that source of food is. They're incredible. Like it says here, the brain of the bee is composed of a mere 1 million neurons, nerve cells, 0.01% of the neurons of a 3-pound human brain.
Using this tiny bee brain and associated vision, bees have been able to solve complicated color puzzles and even recognize human faces. Well, that sounds really interesting.
Yeah, my brother raises bees, and he just sent this text to us just yesterday. It's kind of funny. He says, "We had a guy that built another box here. We took the lid off, and they got mad. He got stung like 6 times, and I had some tangled in my hair, literally had to pull them out, and never got stung." He asked the question, "Do you know what kind of brains they have? I can walk through them swarming, and I have not been stung. I just wonder if they can recognize me as the one that cares for them."
That's amazing, isn't it?
Amazing.
Whoever would have thought we had asked him to send us some pictures of bees for this nugget, and he included that in his text, and we haven't read this article to him. He doesn't even know what this article said, so that was actually really, really a neat point, a neat confirmation of this statement.
Bees also have been created with the ability to distinguish up to 300 separate flashes of light per second, an attribute they use to rapidly fly over changing landscape. You ever wonder how you watch a bee fly and it just all of a sudden darts a different direction and then back and forth? Think about what they have to compute to actually handle that and stay out of danger.
We just want you to take a minute and appreciate God's creation in a different way. When you see a bee hovering on a flower, be amazed at God's creation and the process that is going on and the importance of bees in the creation and all the work that they're doing for us.
Absolutely.
The next time a busy bee buzzes by you on its way to a field, remember that it is designed to do and find things that our most sophisticated machines and computers cannot do, using vision and a brain that flies in the face, so to speak, of undirected evolution. That is the major point of our nugget here today, is it all points to the Creator.
All points to a Creator. Everything does exactly what it was designed to do. New bees are born, and they don't have to go somewhere to be taught. It's there. They don't go to school for this. It's there. It's in them. God put in the creation how everything is supposed to be.
They didn't evolve from something else.
No, they didn't evolve from something else. They were designed to do what they do, and they do it very well.
Again, we do talk about a lot of different aspects of the living creation in Lesson 10, Living Proof, where we talk about insects and plants and dinosaurs and birds.
All kinds of living proof.
Yeah, and people.
And people.
All right. Well, thank you.